Okay, hello friends and followers. Here's a set of Cetron 572 tubes, which came in this Heathkit SB 220. So I'm not sure how old these are. I'm seeing a 73 on here. That could be a date code. These are constructed well. It's a nice solid feeling tube. Looks like a real kind of Bakelite base on these things. Looks like almost like a 1930s kind of tube with the 4-prong base. So note that when you're putting these in, there's going to be 2 thick pins and 2 thin pins. Be careful on the pins and get the tube in correctly. So just taking a look at these, see what the integrity's like. I can't see any real issues, but what I thought is if these things have an internal short, you wouldn't want the plate connection here to be touching anything else. So I wanted to at least ohm out the tube and see how that works. So here we have the ohm meter. I'm actually going to use the scale that is used for transistors because it beeps. Let's see, if it beeps, that means it's bad. So let's try that. I'm just going to go to the plate here and touch the 4 pins and see what happens. So I'm holding one of these on the plate, one lead on the plate, and let's touch these. No beep, no beep, no beep, and no beep. So I would say this tube is not shorted. This tube here, let's see here, no beep. Nothing is beeping, so there's no plate short to anything. And then you can look in the tube here and figure out what's going on. So if you look at the connections here, you can see there is how does this thing work? Okay, there's 2 heater connections and looks like there's a grid connection, and you can see the grid up and through there. See that grid wire? So the grid probably goes to 2 pins, and yeah, this is a triode. So triode meaning 3 elements. I don't think there's there's not 2 grids in this thing. So really then the 2 grid pins should be connected. So how do we determine where those go? If we look at this glass here, it's hard to say where these pins go on the bottom, how that works, but we should have the heaters that are pretty much a 0 ohm on this thing. Heaters only have like a fraction of an ohm, I think. So let's see if we can figure out. Of course, I could look at a diagram, I guess, and see what these things look like, but basically 2 of these pins should show shorts for the heaters, and 2 for the grids should appear to be short, but the grids and the heaters should not be shorting. So let's see what we can find here. Nothing on those 2, so I'm going to say that probably these 2 are grids. Let's see. Oh, nothing really on those. Nothing at all on those. If I was making a tube, I would make the 2 larger ones the heater, right? Let's see what happens there. That's showing pretty much a short. So Those are probably the heaters. I would think that then these two are going to be the grids and they're connected together, or not, but I couldn't get a reading. There's a very high reading. What am I getting here? Mega ohms. So how do they connect this thing? Can't really tell. Are these two tubes then the same in that if I check this one, check these two larger pins first. Yep, pretty much a short. Check these two little ones here. Okay, interesting. So these small pins have nothing on them at all. What does that mean, people? And these, let's go like this and see what happens. Nothing. Nothing. All right, so this tube has less resistance between pins. It only seems like it has heater. This one seems like it has some issues. So if we look at this tube then, and we go between here and these little pins, I'm getting resistance, which might be fatal to the operation of a linear. So nope, not getting anything now. No, it looks fine. So maybe my fingers were touching and causing an issue. All right, nope, this tube seems fine. So I'm gonna give it a clean bill of health. And nothing is really touching anything else. I would say it's not shorted. So I'm not sure. There's a little bit of something there. Okay, those are the heaters. Yeah, so I'm not sure why that resistor in the linear is bad, but the tubes seem like they're viable. So that's my little tour of the Cetron 572B tube. How to check them with a meter. I think it's a valid test. You don't want to see the plate here, which is the plate. So this center conductor connects to this big plate thing in here. That's called the plate, and that is where your 2000 volts go. The electrons then come from the bottom pins here, and they're modulated by the grid, and they end up here. So as long as this stuff is not shorted, I think the tubes are at least reasonable. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day.